So moving on to the second side, I got the tire here installed. Not going to make the same mistake again and leave the bolts in. I'm going to take those out before I start yanking on her. It's always okay to make mistakes, as long as you don't make them twice. Or twice in a row. Now that would be humiliating. Alright. So, you're lined up. Wow, look at that. So much easier once you got it. That is a longer bolt, is it? Yep. So these are 35s and these are 40s. Millimeters, that is. Alright. And then I got the 3. On the side. Just kind of MacGyver your way into the first couple of bolts. And this extension might be a bit long. It's my favorite extension though. So you're started. You're nice and in there. You're nice and in there. Good. Now I do have 2 bolts extra. Gonna find out where those go. All right, so that last bolt actually goes right there. So that makes sense actually, because the other guys are shorter, and this one's not wanting to cooperate just perfectly. Let's try with this guy first. Seems to be lined up a bit better. Here we go. That's good. And I think this guy's going to need a little bit of angle. Here we go. All right. So yeah, so we got the 3 on the side, 2, and then 2 40 mils on the bottom. So what I'm going to do here, this is an old trick when you're putting together stuff. Well, not really a trick, but a procedure to follow by. Is put everything on loose, you know, not crazy loose, but everything in place. And then when you've got everything together, then you start tightening. So I've got to put a bracket here that's going to link both sides together. This would be the hole for my PTO guard. So I'm going to concentrate on putting the top pieces on first. And once everything is lined up and good to go, then I'm actually going to bolt everything down. So got these guys on. Grab the top piece. Actually, before I grab the top piece, I'm going to grab the pivots. All right. Well, that fit pretty damn easy. Let's grab one bolt. Well, there you go. And before I get ahead of myself and I get a ROPS on the head, I'll just put this safety pin in here. Always a good idea. Wow. That's pretty damn easy. Okay, so what I'm going to do here... Oh, actually I was forgetting this top piece right here. I'm going to snug these two guys up a little bit because I want to make sure that everything is in place and I don't have any problems. Maybe do two in the bottom too. So not tight, just good and snug. There we go. Do two of these guys. Good and snug. Yeah, that'll work. Put the top piece on. So I should have one bolt that is longer than the others, which is this guy, I think. Nope. Yeah, that's on. No. Well, one of them's going to go through this thing, and it's not really thick, so it doesn't matter, I suppose. Get you in there. Yeah. Get these two guys out of the way. So I was teaching one of my students yesterday, and basically this is one of the first classes that the guys get into. So the first class is for a heavy equipment mechanic. You know, do your safety training and your hazardous material training stuff. And if they survive through that, if the boredom doesn't kill them, we get on to a little bit more stuff. And I was teaching this course. It's basically utilization of basic hand tools. And there's a lot to be said about effectively using hand tools. I mean, it's a skill. Even this little ratchet that I'm using here with the crank, looks easy enough to use, but there's a certain amount of muscle memory involved in being proficient with tools. And so we got these kids, basically the curriculum is having them use tools and hand saws and files and all this kind of stuff. And it's amazing how, you know, a lot of people have never worked with these tools, and it takes them a bit of time to get proficient with them. And some people are a lot faster than others, and it comes down to muscle memory. So once you learn the muscle memory of how to do these things, it's a lot easier. But it's something that takes practice and time. It's not something like the proper quick utilization of hand tools is not something that comes overnight. You got to be patient with yourself. So using power tools is always a good thing. When you're an apprentice, they always teach people to try to use hand tools as much as possible. And it's just to get the feel of how they work and everything like that. One of the things to be fast with a ratchet, and some people will find these breaker style ratchets to be annoying, but I personally love them. One of the things to be fast with a ratchet is to try to have a circular motion, a large motion as much as possible. You don't want to be just going back and forth at it like you're, you know, this right here. You don't want to be doing that kind of motion whenever you can. Try to use a large motion, and it'll be a lot faster for you than just doing that kind of work. So whenever you do have to use hand tools, you can use them fairly quickly, and you won't be using, you know, thousands of hours just trying to tighten a few bolts. So what I'm going to do right now is just hand squeeze them, these guys. Then I'm going to actually torque them, because I'm that kind of guy. So the spec is 68 foot-pounds. So I'm going to do that. Now, a couple of things. I normally would put Loctite on these things, but I didn't, because what I'm going to do is after about 50 hours of use or so, I'm going to come back and retorque. So I'll take the bolts out, Loctite, put them back in. What's going to happen is that the paint on the mating surfaces is going to wear out a bit. Everything's going to relax and the bolts will actually come loose. So it's always a good idea to do a retorque on any mating surfaces, just so you don't have any funky little surprises later on down the road. So I think my initial hand bombing torque was actually pretty good. So yeah, anytime you can go full circle, a lot faster. Oh, this one's got a bit of an issue. Okay. And there's no sense in crazy Superman over tightening stuff. Sorry, I seem to have lost a little bit of a restraint on my chest strap thingy. Okay, so I'm going to get these guys snug a bit. Ooh, rookie mistake. I can't get these bolts here with this plate on. So I'm going to tighten everything else, take the plate out, and then it'll just be as easy as lining her up. Once she's in position, it'll be super easy. And yeah, I can't get that one. Yeah, man. There we are. Oh. You're out all the way. Didn't pick the best angle there. Okay, I'm happy with that. 2 more bolts to go. And to expedite the process, I will use the old power tools. Right, so you're in the way. 3. Guess I had one take a walk on me. Oh, there it is. Yeah, so everything's nice and lined up now, so don't have to worry about it. So these last 4 bolts are what I would consider to be non-structural. So I will just zap them down with the impact or the cordless. So if I'm going to be completely objective and nitpick at everything as I do, not super happy with the paint job on this. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's a couple spots there, a couple spots there, that are on the primer still. So, whoops, I'm going the wrong way. Yeah, so that's good until I decide to redo the retorque. Everything looks good up here. Got to do these 2 bolts. Again, haven't decided yet. It should clear my garage door, but I'm afraid if it's too tight, it might be a situation for some problems. All right, let's get these wires out of the way and move on to the next step.